And with that, welcome back to another video. So in the first video, well, there is only one video that I made about this until now, of the secret printer, I kind of promised to make a video about running the Edencom sites with negative standings. I called it negative running. You can also run the Triglavian sites with negative standings, however they are quite a bit more complicated, and considering most of the sites are in Poshven, it can get quite problematic. So that's why I just do the Edencom sites. As you know from the previous video, the payout is purely raw Isk, no loyalty points. So it goes all straight to your wallet and it's pretty comfortable. You also don't need any standings with Edencom or the like. And you can just run with negative standings. As you can see, this character has minus 1.3 standings with Edencom, and they are all red. So what you need for this is a Gila, or at least I have found the Gila to be the best ship. This is the fitting that I'm using. As you can see, it's just a brick tank Gila with field extender rigs, because your actual recharge rate doesn't really mean a lot, since the DPS on site is quite big and the recharge rate alone wouldn't be enough, so it's just better to have a lot more buffer instead. Why is this turned off? Okay, that's interesting. And other than that, it's basically the same deal. You wait for the third wave, and then you just kill the third wave. There is a few differences to how you regularly do these. As you can see, I'm cloaked up on grid. So you warp in from text relation gate. You make your ship go into some direction. I like to go towards the wave because I will need to burn at them to get in range for the rapid light missiles, because they only have 24 kilometers on this account. And the reason you do this is that when a hostile player comes and tries to hunt you and walks into the site, he doesn't land right on top of you and decloak you. So that one Microwarpdrive cycle that you can get off before the turrets lock on you, and you can no longer cloak. If that happens, you can just warp out and warp back in again. It's not a problem. But you basically get like half an MVD cycle before they can lock onto you after you warp in. So you just burn away in some direction, and in the middle of the cycle you just cloak up, and that will of course reduce your speed dramatically, but you just sit there and wait for the waves. And then if someone enters, they won't instantly decloak you, and like you will just be sitting there cloaked. They won't know you are there. Even if they think you are there, they would first need to decloak you some way, and they have no way of knowing where exactly you are. Of course, if they are really persistent and put out drones to try and decloak you and go around, they might eventually get you, but that's just how it goes. Beyond that, you need to watch for drone aggro. Like your main DPS on the Gila is obviously your drone DPS. Your missiles don't do that much damage actually, especially once the rats start moving. The application of the missiles becomes really bad. So you need to watch your drones, because these sentry turrets will sometimes shoot the drones, and they are very strong, these sentries, and they can just two-shot your drones, even with the Gila's hit point bonus to the drone hit points. That's also why you need so much buffer. So basically what happens when you decloak and you start killing the third wave is these two turrets will shoot you. The rest of the wave, like the rest of the rats, will not aggro you until you kill one of them. Like basically it's the same thing as when you are running with positive standings. So the rats won't aggro you besides the turrets until you kill one of them. This Gila has so much DPS, you saw before with the skills on this character. Right now, when this one launcher deactivated, it's 650 DPS. This is so much DPS that even the larger Edencom waves just get vaporized in under a minute. So there is nothing to worry about there. That's the whole idea of this ship, is to just have enough buffer to tank the site for 1 or 2 minutes, which you need to basically run it. This character does right now use implants. This is an old implant set. I got it like 2 years ago. And I mean, if I have it, I might as well use it for something. I use it for this. You don't need these implants. They are not necessary at all. But it's low sec, so losing your pod is pretty unlikely. Especially if you are just in a cruiser. So this pod has lived through the loss of, I don't know, tens of Gilas, a lot of ships. But you don't need it. You can run these sites without them. You can easily run these sites with just a buffer with Gila. Of course, if you want more comfort, you can use faction extenders for even more hit points and so on. But really, there is no point. The fit itself costs like 400 million or like 340 right now, but I just say it's 400 million because it's simpler to do the math. You can run one of these sites if you are in a side chain, like I'm doing right here. You can run a site roughly every 15 minutes, including the travel times between the sites. So you can run 4 sites in an hour, and as you can see from me doing this yesterday, you can make 400 million ISK an hour, basically. Of course, if you're in a corporation and you have taxes, you will be paying taxes for these. Just like in the other method, it's the same payout. Another thing to address is, you will see that soon, this area is currently affected by an incursion. Not this system, but the other systems will be. Basically, I assume people who are watching this video know what an incursion is. You just need to think of it like all of the gates are camped, and you will need to do the Microwarpdrive cloak trick on each gate that has rats on it, because the incursion rats will really mess you up. And now I get to kill the wave. I'm not deploying my drones yet. I'm waiting for the turrets to aggro, so that they don't aggro my drones instead. They don't really want to aggro. Okay, they are aggroing, good. And line to the next system. As you can see, heavy DPS incoming. Also, yeah, I forgot to mention, you can't really do this in high sec with the high sec sites, because there is 3 turrets in the high sec sites usually, and they are heavy Edencom turrets. Those will absolutely obliterate you. So don't try to do this in high sec. You can pull it off I have managed to pull it off, but it's not really worth doing. As you can see, I'm not exactly worried about grinding all of them down, because I can just tank the damage and they die quickly enough. You can also see that only the third wave aggroed me, just like when you are running with positive standings. It's the same deal, despite all of them being red. And the payout. And that's it. So it's pretty simple. Of course, Microwarpdrive Cloak Trick will be your friend, especially because you will be doing this in low sec. If you decide to come to this region and do it around here, be wary that the locals know of this strategy and they will try to come and kill you. Right now it's kind of a dead time zone, so there isn't a lot of people around. So I'm expecting to be safe, or at least pretty much left undisturbed. But we will see if that truly is the case. I know there will be a lot of players in local in the incursion systems, but that's just the players running the incursion. They don't really care about you. Also, the incursion does kind of benefit you. Oh, this might be triggered. That's bad. Well, whatever. Let's hope it's not actually triggered, and let's hope this guy isn't camping it. Yeah, it's triggered. So yeah, I will find the next site. Actually no, I will probably keep you here because the next system already has the incursion, if I remember right. I have tried using a Stratios for this, buffer Stratios. The Stratios doesn't really work out because you need to use heavy drones, and the heavy drones have a hard time hitting the frigates and the cruisers, especially if they are moving. So the Stratios doesn't perform really well, and so basically you need to compensate for that with a lot of buffer, which you can't exactly get on the Stratios because it's an armor ship, so you can't fit that much shield buffer onto it. Of course, you can probably get the hit points to a usable level with implants, but at that point you're probably looking at a ship that costs 1 billion Isk and then another like 2 billion Isk in implants, which is kind of stupid when you could just be using a 400 mil Gila. And this is where the incursion starts. No incursion reds yet. I actually tried to record this video yesterday, but the recording failed, or basically my recording software messed up. This guy tried to kill me, as usual. He has attempted it many times. He is still online, so we might see him trying to kill me again. We will see about that. Oh, I got away in time. Interesting. Normally they lock you up by the time this ship warps. So those rats that you just saw, those Sunsh rats on the gate, they do warp disrupt. Some of them do. They do a lot of DPS and they have a lot of tank. They are basically players. They are really hard to kill and they will easily kill you. So never get caught on a gate like that. But of course, because of this, there is rarely any gate camps in incursions or anything similar to that. Players still might try to hunt you, because why wouldn't they? But yeah, that's it. So a few more things here at the end. So as you can see in my chat, I left for Gaudia, the first system from Baratar, at 9:43, and I arrived back here at 10:43. So this took me exactly 1 hour, despite multiple sites which were already triggered, which you don't normally have. I am running right before downtime, so that's why the sites were already triggered. As you can see, I made basically 380 million ISK. Of course, I have 0 taxes because it's my own corp. So I paid for this Gila and I made some more ISK in an hour. Another thing is that in the sites, if you approach the rats like I do and then cloak up, it could happen that the warping in rats from the waves land close enough to you to decloak you. That might mean that you have to warp out and then warp back in again, because the rats will lock you up and then you won't be able to cloak again. This could also happen if one of the patrols warps in. They usually leave after 10 minutes, so you can just keep warping out and warping back in every few minutes to see if your waves have spawned and mark them. That's how you get around the patrols. And if you already have the third wave tagged, you just warp out and chill for 10 minutes on the sun or something until the patrol wave leaves. And then you can just finish your site. Also, as you can see, more standings hits as usual, but you don't care about standings because you are running them with negative standings. So yeah, basically this is how you run the Edencom sites with negative standings in a Gila. Don't do it in high sec, because it's not worth it and it's painful. Have fun. Goodbye.